Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Fred Razak at CMTrading. Today is November 10th, 2022, and today is Thursday morning. So looking at the highlights of the day, the U.S. markets retraced the day after Election Day as anticipated. But first, looking at the major economic events of today, at 3:30 South African time out of the United States, we have a yearly and monthly CPI numbers coming out. That's an inflation report and has become one of the most important numbers of the month. Now, looking at the Forex symbols, the Australian and Canadian dollars both retracing versus the USD. Looking at the indices, the Dow Jones and the NASDAQ both sell off and retrace, as spoken before. And commodities, gold consolidates at the top of the move, while oil trickling and tapering off to $85 a barrel. Now, looking at the stocks, by and large, they traded lower. And lastly, looking at cryptocurrencies, it continues to sell off, but first bouncing off of its 15K support. So let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. So here we go. We're looking at the USD Canadian dollars at a 4-hour chart, and you see that crossover above the 30-day moving average. Now that's really important as this has gotten much weaker versus the US dollar, and that's interesting because the price of oil has kind of solidified, so I would have expected the Canadian dollar to somewhat be in a better shape. However, it is selling lower. Now looking at the Aussie USD as well, that's a daily chart. Let's look at a 4-hour chart. You can see that crossover as well. Whereas if we look at the GBP or the euro, it's not doing it as much. Okay, the euro hit a double top, while the GBP also didn't really do much, and then trading just a little bit lower, but not trading with the velocity that the Canadian and the Australian dollar is trading. So keep that in mind, as this may be the trendsetters going in. Now looking at gold, trading at 1705, excuse me, and I had capitulated at 1719, 1720. Now if we look at a daily, it's the top of the range. Okay, so I do expected it to, retrace at these levels. It was a little bit of a surprise that it did trade as high as this, but that's something that looks like it's consolidating here, and at least for now, making a bottom at this 1650-ish level. Okay, and so that is a new bottom for gold. Now looking at crude oil, trading at $85 a barrel. Now this was a nice retracement for it from $92. So nothing to be unexpected here. So we did see that retracement. Now jumping into the US markets, this is where it's getting very interesting. We're looking at the Dow Jones right now at a 1-hour chart. Now we capitulated going to 33,350-ish level and then just taking it lower yesterday, as you can see here. Now we are trading at 32,500 before this major inflationary number coming out today, so just be aware of it. Okay, this could retrace further. I mean, historically speaking, if we look at a daily, we are hitting the top of the range here, which we've hit several times before. So this may be a new coming. Okay, if this does cross over and continues getting closer to our 30-day moving average, we could see it continue to sell off. So just be aware of that. Now we're going to have to look at the stocks to really confirm it. Now looking at the NASDAQ, much weaker than the Dow Jones, because if we look at the high-tech stocks, they're the ones that let us lower. Apple on its lows. If we look at Facebook, did bounce yesterday, but sold off at the end of the day. Microsoft selling off as well. If we look at Amazon on its lows as well, and Google on its lows. So this is just disconcerting. Some of these stocks are, continuously trading lower, but the indices are not. So there's a little bit of a discrepancy here as to what's going on in the markets. Now looking at Alcoa, also selling off at the bottom of that range on that moving average, and JP Morgan also taking an about face. If we look at JP Morgan, where is it? There it is. JP Morgan taking an about face and selling off there as well. If we look at a daily, it capitulated there at 131. It's one of the stronger stocks, okay, and it's less inclined to go down, but just be aware that we're at the top of the range on all in all. Now jumping into Bitcoin, this is why trading cryptocurrencies is so difficult, okay, because this thing was trading in a very tight range, gave us a fake out like as if it was going to get stronger at 20,500, and then just completely nosedive. If we look at a 1-hour chart, you can see that just so slightly at 15K and then bouncing off of it. So, ultimately, are we still very weak? Yeah, we made new lows for the year on Bitcoin. So that's really an important event, as this is really breaking down. You could see that candle on a weekly chart. So this is, you know, bona fide downwards trend here. So just be very, very careful in these type of trades. Okay, there could be spikes because of people covering their shorts, but then ultimately there's going to be a sell-off to follow. So this is Fred Razak. I want to wish you guys a great trading day. Thank you.